Hello and welcome to Talk FCB and welcome back to the channel here today as we are discussing more transfer talk this summer, and we may well be on the verge of announcing technically our first signing or agreement of the summer, but this transfer might not be going through until 2018 in January, when the player will reportedly join the club. The player in question is Colombian centre-back Yerry Mina, and we may well be saying to him very soon, welcome to FC Barcelona. But exactly what will he bring to the club, and is he going to be the right fit? Coming from Brazilian football, how is he going to settle into the European stage? Can he step up his game? And exactly what will he bring to the heart of our defence? Those are all the issues that we're going to be looking at throughout this video today. We're going to be taking a look into whether the Colombian is ready for the big move, what exactly he's going to bring, what are his best attributes, and what has he been like in Brazil this season and also on the international stage for Colombia. Well, a little bit of background knowledge for you guys. At the moment, he's 22 years old. He'll turn 23 in September, which means that when we're likely to sign him in January 2018, he will be 23 years of old, coming over to Barcelona. He's coming from Brazilian club Palmeiras, who of course you will all remember last summer sold Gabriel Jesus to Man City, and that deal was very, very similar. Man City made the agreement last summer, but the player didn't join until the January transfer window. The simple reason for this is Palmeiras are very much intent on keeping Mina until January, simply to play a part in the Copa Libertadores, which is a very, very big competition the Brazilian clubs are involved in. So they want to keep him there for that competition, which ends at the end of the year, or at least a big part of it, and then Mina will join Barcelona, what we think, in January of 2018. Now, the transfer fee is reportedly €9 million. Now, that seems very, very cheap, of course. A player coming in from Brazil, we know that there's a lot of high price tags going around this summer. By those standards, €9 million is an outstanding amount of money for a player who is well known on the international stage. Although he has only made 9 caps for Colombia, scoring 3 goals, and he's a centre-back, by the way. He was actually in action last night when Colombia took on Cameroon. 4-0 the final result, with Yerry Mina scoring 2 of those goals, one with his head and one with a nice finish with his right foot. He's a goal-scoring defender, and that's quite true. He's 6'5", he's very, very tall, he's an absolutely lethal threat from set pieces. He's very strong, he's very, very physical, he likes a good tackle, he gets in tight to his attacker, and he likes to get in there and put his body on the line, which I like from a centre-back. And basically, the idea for Barcelona was actually to wait until January of next year to actually make the final decision on Yerry Mina. They were interested now for a while in him, but simply because of his very good form of late and his rise to prominence, Barcelona want to make the deal confirmed now. They want to agree the fee with Palmeiras, and they want to get it all sorted so that it's all signed and sealed, and Mina can then join in January, because there are rumoured apparently a lot of English clubs interested in Mina, so Barcelona want to act now. And speaking of that game last night between Colombia and Cameroon, where Mina played the entire game, Barca's sporting director Roberto Fernandez was in the crowd for that game. He went to watch that game the first time that he'd seen Yerry Mina live. They'd wanted to see him live for a few times. This is the first opportunity they got, and he's certainly impressed with his display last night. A clean sheet and also 2 goals, showing his prowess in the box, in the air, but also that he's pretty handy with his feet as well, and we're going to be moving on to that later in the video. But also, I think joining in January 2018 is a very, very good time, because Mascherano will likely be spending his last season at the club this year. Mathieu is on his way out. Marlon reportedly is going to be promoted next season to play the role of the 4th centre-back. So by joining in January, halfway through the season, he'll get to grips with the club. He'll sort of acclimatise to European football, because a lot of the time for South Americans coming over to the European stage, it does take a little bit of time to settle in. So Mina will be able to come over, he'll be able to learn things, he'll be able to sort of have a look around the place, get to know his surroundings, and then hopefully in the season that follows that, the 2018-19 season, he'll be ready to start fresh and he'll be ready to kick on. And by then we'll know Mascherano's destination, whether Marlon will be making the big step up. He'll have had a season to prove himself, so more will be realised when he comes in 2018. But it does seem like a move very much for the future. Titi, Marlon, of course, and now Mina, all around the 23, 24-year-old mark. So they're all young players, Barcelona building for the future, and they believe that this man is somebody who could be at the heart of our defence for many years to come. So like I said, he's 6'5", he's very, very tall. He will become the first Colombian ever to play for Barcelona, and at 6'5", he would actually be the tallest player that we have. Piqué is about 6'4.5", Busquets is pretty tall as well, but Mina would be the tallest player on our team, which I think is very, very good, because we do lack at times times. A bit of height, a bit of strength. Certainly not only in defending set pieces will Mina be very, very useful, but we never really cause as much of a threat as we should from corner kicks, because we get a lot of corners throughout the season because of our attacks that lead to saves, which lead to then corners, but we never really do anything from them. We're never really a threat from set pieces. Hopefully Mina coming in can certainly bring some goals and bring some reward from all those corners and free kicks that we do gain throughout the season. Like I said, he's very, very dominant in the air. He's very, very good in the tackle. Like you can see from the stats, he does get in a lot of tackles. The stats might be a little bit higher than they usually would be, simply because so far this season, there's only been 3 Brazilian league games. He's played also in the Copa Libertadores, and again, he's been on the goal-scoring side in those games. He's put a few goals in there already. He scored 3 and 5 in the Libertadores tournament. He scored twice last night for Colombia, as I've said, and like I say, 9 caps so far for Colombia, but 3 goals in that time. He only joined Palmeiras actually in 2016. He joined from Santa Fe, and if we just take a look at his passing statistics here, because I like to do that, because of course as a defender, as a centre back, your primary aim is to stop goals. Tackles, clearances, blocks, they're all very, very important. But also of course at Barcelona, you've got to take into account the way you've got to play the game. You're going to receive the ball from the goalkeeper, you've got to be able to be comfortable on it, you've got to be able to play passes sideways, forwards and back of course, and Yerry Mina is going to have to come in and be comfortable on the ball, and that's something that he certainly can do, because although he is a very, very tall guy, he's very, very comfortable on the ball, he's technically very good, and that is why I think Barcelona is so keen to get him in. If you look at his average passes per game for the 3 games in Brazil this season, he's had about 63 passes per game, which is actually very, very similar to the stats of Umtiti and Piqué throughout the last season. Piqué averaged 67 stats, so slightly more, and Umtiti 69 passes per game, so a few more passes there. But both of them very, very similar statistics to Mina. And if we look at the pass success rate, nearly 90% of Mina's passes do reach their target, which is very, very high and very, very good. Only Umtiti in our team has more than that as a centre-back position. 92.9% passes completed from Samuel Umtiti, and Piqué 88.9%. So Mina at nearly 90%, very, very good pass completion rate, and will come in very, very handy at Barcelona. Now, Mina, after last night's game, when Roberto Fernandes went to watch him against Cameroon after he scored his 2 goals, he did complete an interview where he was asked a number of questions about Barcelona's interest. He was asked the question of, do you think your Barcelona dream is coming closer? Now, we've not really heard a lot about this dream of Mina, but he replied by saying, the dream for me always is to play in Europe, and we're continuing to work hard towards that goal. So he wants to come and play in Europe. A lot of players who play in South America do have that same dream. One man who did have that dream was Neymar, and he is certainly realising that dream alongside the likes of Lionel Messi and co right now, and he's been all the better for it. And then the reporter went on to ask, is it more pressure on you seeing somebody like Roberto Fernandes from Barcelona in the crowd tonight? Did it help you with your performance? He said, it's important to me to have these people come to watch me, to watch my game. He said, it's important to me because I'm calm about it, I'm calm about my future, but I'm happy because I'm doing well and I'm doing the right things to get this kind of interest. So he didn't really deny the interest of Barcelona. There have been a lot of talks, and it's actually Rack 1 who reported that Barcelona are closing in on this deal and an agreement with Palmeiras. Rack 1, very, very reliable with Barcelona-related news. They get a lot of things right. They get a lot of things right early, and I would expect the likes of Sport and Mundo Deportivo to follow on from this story in the days to come. And it does seem as though we are closing in on an agreement with Palmeiras. Around 9 million euros was the fee that was quoted by Sport earlier on in this window for the price tag of Mina. But it looks like we're going to sign him. It looks like he's going to come in January as our 4th centre-back, technically 4th or 5th, depending on where Mascherano's future lies. Like I say, I expect Matteo to leave the club this summer, and I would expect Mina to slot in, learn the ropes in the first 6 months of the club, and then have hopefully an impact in the 18 to 19 season. So leave your thoughts down below, guys. What are your initial thoughts on Yerry Mina? Look at the stats, look at what we know. There's videos, of course, of him. You can see his goals from last night, pretty decent goals. Of course, none of us really, or a lot of people here, may not watch the Brazilian league week in, week out. We may not have seen him develop as a young player, but certainly from what I have watched of him, he's strong, he's very, very good, technically in terms of his passing, in terms of receiving the ball, being comfortable on it. He's very, very good in the air. He'll be a physical and, an asset in terms of defending set pieces and attacking set pieces, and that for me is something that we really lack. So that's a very, very good positive coming out of this deal. So leave your thoughts down below, guys, on Yerry Mina. I'm excited to hear what you've got to say. We'll have more transfer talk coming very, very soon on the channel. Thank you to all the new subscribers, and thank you all for your comments. As always, I'll see you very, very soon. But until then, as always, Visca el Barça!